Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dylan with Clarity Creations, and today we're going to go over the snake cleaning video. We're going to talk about how we clean our cages, give a little spotlight on the cages, where they came from, the dimensions, all that good stuff. Today is the first time we're using our new camera guy, my buddy Teskey. He's going to be our new camera guy, so work with us as we work through the bugs and we get better with using the new equipment. And then we got a cool new thing that we're going to give a small, minute to talk about, and we're going to possibly make a whole nother video about it. So today we're going to dive in. We're going to start talking about our snake cleaning process. We're going to go over the tools. We're going to explain the process that we do, and I'm just going to do it all with you from start to finish. So for starters, we're going to talk about our tools. Oh, also at the end of the video, we're going to do some nice content of going through all the cages, and we're going to show all the snakes off. Just get, a cool video, one on each cage, and just go around. And another thing I want to address is the paper. So it's breeding season. We're deep in breeding season right now. I have a cat here that likes to hunt my snakes, that likes to jump on the cages and hang. We'll jump all the way up here and on here and hang like Mufasa and try to look at the snakes and bat at the cages and stuff. So the ones with paper over them are the females that are either breeding, or we're starting to breed, or we're starting to look at the development of follicles. So we put paper over them to give them a little more privacy for the breeding season. So that's why we have paper over some of the cages right now. So to get started with the cleaning, first thing is gloves. Oh, actually I lied. First thing is not gloves. The first thing is the most important tool of the job. I'm a carpenter, I'm a construction guy. If any of you guys do construction, you know what I'm talking about. The most important tool on the job is the radio, is the boombox. I do not clean cages without music. I don't do much without music. So I'm a big music guy, so you gotta have the radio. But for the purposes of the video, we're not gonna play any music, but I just had to make sure that I let you guys know that there's always music on while I'm cleaning. Besides that, we put on our gloves. I always wear gloves when I clean. You guys don't know this fun fact about me, but fresh out of high school, I was a CNA for a year and a half. And I know that sounds funny. I don't look like a CNA, but I went to school for it. I learned safe practices, ethical care, and good washing of hands and all that good stuff. So I always use gloves when I clean. I'm slight germaphobe. I don't like touching poop with my bare hands anyways. So gloves are a must for me. These are the Venom gloves. I usually get them from Amazon. They're currently out of stock because I just tried to order more. So whenever they're back at stock, you can get some nice. They're really, really thick. These are really nice, thick gloves. I really enjoy these gloves. So the Venom gloves are where it's at. So after your gloves, we have two different types of scrubbing devices. We have the brush right here. It's like a soft bristle. It's for the softer plastics. We use it for our big water dishes, like this girl in here. Oh, look at that view. That's pretty cool. So our bigger girls, maybe you can see this one. Our bigger girls have the big water tubs that they can get in and soak completely. And the brush is a little thick, so it'll leave scuff marks. The sponge is a little rough. So we use the brush for the plastic of the bigger water dishes. And then this was a great find. I'm really glad I found this. This is like an industrial grade sponge. It's meant for taking off some serious grime and dirt and stuff. So for the metal water dishes that most of my smaller females and all of my males have, it works amazing on the metal water dishes. It gets them super clean, super nice, and I'm really glad I found these. I do use them for the cages too, because these are really hard plastic, so I can get in there with these in the cages too. The next thing that we have is paper towels. If you guys ever plan on becoming snake breeders, just accept the fact that you are going to go through a lot of paper towels. I have 15 snakes in my collection, 16 if you count the rainbow boa. So I have 16 snakes, and we go through a lot of paper towels. I also have 2 small children, a preteen, 2 dogs, and a cat. So we have no shortage of paper towel usage in this household. The next thing we use is the cleaner. So I just use a nice little spray bottle. Every couple months I go through a new one. The spray bottle breaks or something like that. So I haven't really found an actual bottle I'm in love with. This bottle came like this with this chemical guys thing on it. This bottle has actually been working pretty good for quite some time now. So I wouldn't give it like a it'll work forever review yet, but so far this one has worked pretty well for me. I don't know exactly where I got it from, but this one works pretty good. Before that, I had some that would leak from the top all the time, or the spray would lose pressure. So I burn through these quite often, but this one's been lasting pretty well. So this mixture inside of here is 50% chlorhexidine, which is this stuff right here. You find it at Tractor Supply, and it's in the horse section. It's usually meant for cleaning horses or stuff like that. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I was recommended this at the beginning of my reptile journey, and I love it. It works good. It smells good. It's really good at getting the thick stuff off. So I use this stuff and I love it. It's 2% too, by the way, because they have different percentages of it, but I was always taught and told to use the 2, and that's what I use. So this is 50% chlorhexidine, and then the other 50% is water, hot water, and then I put about 6 drops of Dawn dish soap, which I don't have that out here, but let me grab that real quick. Hold on. So this is the Dawn dish soap I use. No special scents or anything special. If it's got the cute little ducky on it, then we know it's animal safe, and that's what I use for all my animals. And I burn through this stuff too, even though it's big. Like, this lasts quite a while, but when you're cleaning every single week, which, by the way, I didn't talk about that. I clean every single week, either Saturday or Sunday. Most of the time Sunday. I clean every week because this is my kitchen. This is where I eat food. This is where we live, in my dining room. You know, we eat here every day. So even cleaning once a week sometimes isn't enough. Sometimes we have one that'll poop in the cage. It'll smell bad. My wife works from home, so I'll get a text right away. It says a snake pooped. It's not clean. We need to clean it. So sometimes I'm cleaning 2-3 times a week, but every Sunday I assess every cage, and then we go through our cleaning process. So what that looks like is I'll come in here and I'll have some blue tape. Let me grab my blue tape. I'll come in here with some blue tape and I'll look at every cage. And sometimes a cage doesn't need to be clean. Otherwise, it's got clean water. It's got, the snake didn't poop or pee in there. It looks like a nice clean cage. So I'll just take a little piece of blue tape and I'll put it right here like that. And that lets me know to not open that cage, that will not be cleaning this cage this week. I have somebody come help me. So I usually work in, 2-man groups, me and one other person, but I always try to keep it where no one's going to get hurt, where it's nice and safe process. I'm the one that always handles the animals, but I always get some type of help cleaning the cages. It just makes it go so much faster when you have 2 sets of hands. So if you're thinking about getting a larger collection, understand the fact that you can do it yourself 100%. I'm not a lazy man by any means, but I understand that time is money, and I don't want to spend 5-6 hours cleaning snake cages on my weekend when I also work a full-time job. I would much rather pay somebody for their time so we can bang it out in 2 hours, and then we can go on with our weekend and enjoy our families and the things that we enjoy to do. Because at the end of the day, I love my animals very much, but nobody likes cleaning up snake poop for hours on end. It's not a super fun task. So the process, and the next thing that we have is our tub, right? So I have 15 of these tubs. I have 15 of these tubs for 15 snakes. Everybody gets their own tub. And when I try to do this, I try to be very systematic. What I do is I walk up and I look at every cage and I assess every cage. I put tape on the cages that don't need to be cleaned. Even if the cage doesn't need to be cleaned, they always get fresh water. So after I assess the cages and I see how many I need, then the next thing I do is I come and I rip paper. So I'll bring you over here to our paper ripping station, and all it is this nice little rack system that I got from Amazon, and you get the rolls from Amazon, they ship it right to the house. It's super convenient, and all you do is I measured 4 feet off the ground, so all I have to do is take this to the ground. As soon as I touch the ground, put those there, I give it a little bit more because I like it to go up the lip of the side, so they can't poop in the corner. I try to give that extra little flair in case they do poop in the corner. And then you just rip it. I'm not going to rip this one because earlier I ripped 2 extras for the situation. So I have 2 ready to go here that are already ripped. But this is really nice. This made it a lot easier. I'm not measuring paper. I'm not trying to guess at 4 feet. I'm not having inconsistencies. You just screw it at the right height off the ground, touch the ground, and rip it. So that way you got pretty consistent paper sizes without any thought. Pretty much idiot proof it because, guys, I'm not very smart. So we got our paper, and I believe that would be the last tool that we use. So I rip all the paper for the cages that are needed. I have my stack of paper ready to go. The next step is to take out my water dishes. So up here, this is where I hang my snake hooks. I got my little guy for the little snakes, and then I got my cool big one for my couple big girls that I got. So depending on the size of the snake, depends on the size of the snake hook. This is a smaller female, so we'll need a nice small snake hook. So the first thing that I do, which I love these cages, by the way. These cages are awesome. With this snake hook, I'm able to put it in the loop, open it, and swing that door open when I'm this far away from the cage. So my face, my head, my body are at least 4 to 6 feet away from that cage at all time when opening that cage. So that severely reduces the chances of getting bit, getting struck at. So these cages are amazing for me. For that aspect alone, I really, really enjoy that feature of them. Another really cool feature about them is they're all flush mount on the inside. So it's not like a snake can ever push these out or push it open or anything like that. While we have it open, I might as well talk about the cage a little bit. So these are 4 foot by 2 foot, 2.5 foot by 18 inches tall. They also have this they have a white PVC pipe running from end to end, which has several purposes. One, it's a stiff back for the shelf. So the shelf comes out half of the length of the cage and it spans the whole length of the cage. When you do that, you got to usually have brackets or supports or some other thing. I'm going to close this just so I can pay attention to the camera. We'll open it back up in a second. But when you have that long shelf, you need supports either above or below, which is just something for the snake to wrap around when you're trying to take it out to clean. It's something to get shed stuck on, poop stuck on. It just makes it a little harder when you have some type of shelving bracket involved. But the PVC goes end to end and it's recessed into the side panels. So it really stiffens up that shelf. And it also has a hollow point inside of that tube because it hugs the shelf like a C. So in that void right there is the perfect spot to put your probe. Your probe for all your heat tape, your probe for your herp stats. So that way the probe isn't actually in with the snake. It can't be, all you guys that own snakes know that they love getting that probe. They love ripping the tape down. They love wrapping around the wire. So to get that wire out of the cage but still getting readings in the cage has been such a huge bonus. That's another huge reason why I really, really love these cages. All these cages are heated from the top element above. So up there is the heat panel. And then behind, you got the heat tape, and then you got the PVC like 1/8 inch board around it that I screw around it so that way the snake can't get burnt by it. It helps distribute the heat a little bit better. So every cage is heated like that. And then you have the probe that comes about halfway through, right in the middle. So the probe is inside that tube about halfway through there, and that's where I'm getting my heat readings from. So all my heating is all right here. I got a little bit of ranges from high to low depending on the cages on the top to the cages on the bottom, but they're all within a nice reasonable range, and they have a nice gradient within the cage because you can be on top shelf left and right or below shelf left and right, and you'll have 4 different temperatures that you can go regulate your body in. So I really, really, really enjoy these cages. They're very well made. So besides the cages, we'll go back to the cleaning. And the very next step that I do is I go in there with my snake hook. I make sure that the snake is nice and chill, and I just go in and I grab the water dish, right? I grab the water dish. This one's empty just because I already emptied it before we just got done cleaning snakes. So I kept this one open for demonstration purposes. So I'll take my tubs and I'll go into the bathroom and I'll dump them out in the toilet and then I'll stack them in the tub. For now, I'll just put them here. And this is where having a 2-man crew works really well because one person can be cleaning water dishes while one person is cleaning cages. So after all of the water dishes are out in every cage, then we take snakes out. And taking snakes out is time out. It can be extremely easy or it could be a pretty exhilarating experience depending on your animal. So I have some very, very tame puppy dog, perfect pet retics here that I can trust any person taking them out of the cage. I also have 2 that like to choose violence, that don't particularly like me very much, no matter how much I try. So I love them to have them in my collection. They keep me on my toes. They remind me to respect these animals and that they are, they are reticulated pythons. They are a wild species. So it's nice to not have all extremely nice animals because then you can get complacent and you can make mistakes that way. So I do have 2 of them that we keep on high alert with. When it's time to take them out of the cages, the kids, the animals are out of the room, and we just are very precautious handling those animals. They're not like extremely dangerous or anything like that, but they are just fast. They're fast, so I just work cautiously with them. So to get this girl out, we're going to stand, like I said, stand far away, use your hook. I always go in, give her 2 little taps, Hey, how's it going, girl? So this is actually, she's a pure Kalatoa female. She's about 5.5 years old now, and she is absolutely tiny. This girl is super, super small. We're not really here to do a spotlight, but I figured since we're cleaning her cage, we'll talk about her. Once I get them out, I usually put the snake hook aside. The snake hook is just getting them in and out of the cage and to tell them it's not time to eat. Because all retics love to eat, and they will always eat. So as soon as you get them out of the cage, 9 times out of 10 that food response is off, and you have a nice chill baby pet that's super cool to hang out with. So yeah, we just get her out. I put her in here nice and easy, get the lid on, and then we stack it aside. Okay, we stack up all 15. We take all 15 animals out if we're cleaning all 15 cages. This week we cleaned all 15 cages. Most week the average is about 8 to 10 that we clean every single week. There's a few babies, subadults that don't poop a lot, don't eat a lot. So all the females that are ready to breed, they all eat a lot. They're all pounding food. They're nice and thick, so they're pooping a lot. They need to be cleaned a lot. So once we get the snake out and we know the snake's out, we come in and I take and I roll this paper up. I fold up each end. I try to get any big material, big poop, garbage, shed, whatever, and I try to roll it all up in the middle. And then I roll this nice and tight, right? Like I try to keep it super tight. Because if you keep it nice and tight, you're able to stuff a bunch of them in a single garbage bag. But if you keep them loose, you can fill up a garbage bag with like 3 cages. And then you got like so many garbage bags full of stuff. But if you make it really small, like try to make it a softball size, and then you put it in the bag, I can usually get every cage just out of one bag. So when I take this and I'm gonna go throw it away, normally I have a bag hanging here, but I forgot that process. I normally hang it up here, and then there's a bag here. That's what's supposed to happen, but I forgot that. So let me just go throw this away in the other garbage. My wife will love that. And then after that, we go in and we give a nice good spray. I'm very generous with the spray. I like getting it nice and soaked because especially up here where the heat is, this part of the cage gets pretty hot. So if you spray it, go walk away and come back, it's already dried up because it's really warm right there. So I give it a nice heavy spray and I look at the cage. This cage doesn't need any scraping. One thing I forgot was the scraper. So if needed, this is the first line of defense. If there's big poop or stuck anything, I go in and I'll scrape it all out and I'll just scrape it to the front and I'll get a nice little pile and then I'll wipe that up with paper towels. After I do that step, I will spray it a second time. After I spray it the second time, then I go in with the magic sponge here. I love this thing because this thing just makes light work of all the grime. If you look at this pole, literally just hug the pole and go down a couple times, and it literally just shines it up so nice. I really, really like this sponge. Before this, I was just using paper towels, and I use a lot of paper towels now, but before I found the sponge, I was burning through paper towels. So it's much better to use the sponge. You give it a nice scrub. Sometimes I'm not tall enough, so I got my little step stool here. So I get my little step stool, and I'm able to get in the back. And the thing is, too, when you're cleaning your cages, you can't just clean like bottom and bottom because the snake literally goes in every square inch. So you need to do the wall, the back wall, the front of the door, so you got to make sure. And then the big thing, too, is this front area, like this front lip right in this here. You got to make sure you come and clean the inside of this. And even so, even going through all this process and cleaning them and scrubbing them real good, they still don't get perfect. And my mild OCD really bugs me, and like I'll spend a lot of time cleaning a cage because I want it to be perfect. But the fact of the matter is, they're not going to be perfect, especially if you have older snakes that take bigger poops and the pee is just like, I don't know, man, there's something toxic in that pee that just stains everything up. So you do your best you can scrubbing. And by the way, don't judge me because I'm not cleaning like I'd be cleaning if it was just me getting in here. I'd be probably sweating. I'm just trying to do a demonstration for the video. So this is what I do. I go in and I scrub everything down, scrub the walls, scrub the back walls. And if it starts to dry out a little bit on top, I'll come and I'll spray it again. Move my little stool over, come get this side. Another thing with these cages too is you have to silicone them. If you can see, I have silicone in the back there, but then the silicone ripped up on this side. So silicone's good, it's great. You need to silicone your cages to help the pee and stuff from leaking through. But after so long, that silicone fails, and then it starts ripping up. And then, you, like right here in the back, the silicone, and you just got a little gap missing that fell out. So now, like pee, water, any spilled anything, it's going to start leaking through there. So after so long, you got to maintenance your cages, which I'm getting close to that point, obviously, where I need to take my snakes out. I need to home them for like a day or two, and then re-silicone these, let them dry and cure properly, and then put the animals back in them. So I'm about ready for that process, but we're in the middle of breeding season. It's a terrible time to do that. You don't want to stress your females out. So after this breeding season, I'll probably take them out, re-silicone them, give them a really, really good scrub down, and then, have some nice, good sealed cages. Another thing that I forgot to mention is there's a slightly different process for any female that we think is breeding, that is going through the motions, that has refused food, any female that is on the development of building follicles or anything like that. We want to get her in and out of that cage as fast as possible because we don't want to stress her. So if we have a female that's about to lay or anything close to that, what we do is we get everything ready right at the front door. We have the paper ripped. We have everything ready to go. I take her out, and I normally hold the animal while my helper comes in and cleans as fast as they can. We have the water dish already cleaned, ready, full of water. We clean it real quick, put the paper in, put the full water dish in, and try to get the snake in. It reminds me of like a NASCAR pit stop because I'm like, I don't want to stress my animal out. So quick, like in and out, get this cage clean, get her some fresh water, and get her back in there. So if there's a breeding female, we really like, it's top priority to get her in and out. I don't like her in a tub to hang out in, which most of them are fine in. Most of them go in the tub and just sit there and hang out. None of them are like big pushers. I have one female, one of my spicy noodles in here. She is a big pusher. Every time we put her in a tub, she would push the top of her head, and she'd get like a scab on the top of her head and mess up her scale. And every time she did it, and unfortunately I'm not very smart, so it took me several times to realize like, hey, she really doesn't like those tubs. So fortunately, we have an empty snake cage behind my video guy over there, and we use that as her temporary home while we clean her cage. So we take her out, we put her in the empty snake cage, we clean everything, and then put her back. She does not go in a tub because she personally just hates being inside of them. But all my other snakes, all 14 of the other super dwarfs, have no problem hanging out in there for, this takes anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours, depending on how many cages we're cleaning, how bad they are, if it's breeding season or not, because we up our feedings during breeding season. That's what we're doing this season. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do it, but this is something that we're going to try this year. Just to see if more food equals more babies. Kind of like a little experiment, I guess you'd say that we're trying. So we'll see how that goes. Again, I take these, I usually throw them in the garbage bag that's right here, but it's not there, so let me throw them over here. Okay, so for better parts, okay, so now the cage has been cleaned, so now we got to clean the glass, give it a nice little spray, both sides. Take some more paper towels. Clean the outside of my face a little bit. So while I'm cleaning, guys, I'd really like to say I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. I appreciate all the comments and the likes. You guys have helping this channel grow, and we're almost to 100 subscribers. I'm thinking about doing a really cool giveaway when we get to 100 subscribers. So if you guys could take this video and share it to your social medias, your YouTubes, your Facebooks, text it to people, whatever, snake people or not. The more views, the more subscribers, the better everything gets, the more we're able to do for you guys. So if you could share this and help me get to 100 plus subscribers, we'll do a giveaway, and that'd be really, really awesome. So I appreciate all the support from you guys. It's been really, really awesome. So after the cage is clean, just take our new paper. And we use paper now that we're breeders. When I was a hobbyist and I only had a couple snakes, I used substrate. And I really like substrate. I love the naturalistic of it. I love that it gives the snake different enrichment, different things to rub on, all that good stuff. There's a lot of benefits to using substrate. But as a breeder, especially someone who cleans every single week, it doesn't make sense to use substrate and have to spot clean every week and then do a full revamp every couple months. You know, you're not always getting all the pee at the bottom. There's spots you can miss. So I personally think it's more cleanly to keep them this way. It's not always the coolest way because I do miss making really cool bioactive enclosures, but this is definitely what's most efficient, cost effective, and healthy for me to monitor my animals for breeding and all that stuff. So now that the paper's in there, you can see that it flares up on this side a little bit. On this side it flares up a little bit, and then we put the water dish that has been cleaned. Luckily we have somebody that helps us. Like I said, they'll clean water dishes, or sometimes I will. So the water dish is nice and clean, and then we just fill it up with water. We just use these nice little, like, whatever, pitchers, lemonade pitchers, whatever you want to call them. I fill it up with strictly cold water. I don't do warm water or lukewarm. I do straight cold, and I fill them up. These get about halfway filled up. You get about half to 3/4 of one of these per snake. And then the big snakes get 1.5. So that way they can fully submerge their body in there, and they can fully get in there and soak anytime they want. But the reason I do straight cold water is because these cages are anywhere from like 85 to 92 degrees on the hot side, somewhere in that range. So that water warms up pretty quick. They can go in it, and if it's too cold for them, they touch their face on it and then they get out. But eventually, it warms up and they go soak in it. This one, you guys seen, I literally just filled these up and they're already in there soaking. Sorry, these two aren't soaking. She's in there soaking, completely in there soaking, and that water's still, I guess you'd say, pretty chilly, but she loves it. She's super chill in there. I'm pretty sure that's everything that I wanted to cover. I got notes over there. I think that's all we wanted to cover today, so I really appreciate you guys for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to have a discussion, hit me up. You guys know where to find me: Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. I'm not hard to find. Come find me and we'll talk snakes and reptiles anytime you guys want. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait for the next show. So this is the really cool thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is our new upgraded baby rack. And I didn't want to do this yet. I actually had ideas to buy like a really nice stainless steel one and get a really, really nice expensive setup for the babies, but that was going to have to wait till next year. This one, Facebook Marketplace struck again. You guys know I have an addiction with Facebook Marketplace. They posted all these. They're all individually heated for a price I couldn't refuse. So we'll dive into these in a new video, maybe next week or in the week, coming. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick little tip on, or a quick little spotlight on our cool new baby racks that I'm super stoked about. So yeah, thanks again, guys.